Welcome to another special rock and roll edition of yours truly marching. We're gonna march a little bit as we always do. Yours truly, ready to rock and roll. Let's go. From my Dragon Slayer, we're gonna load up the backpack with a can. Thank you for the food donations. Food security starts with the farmers and another can of beans, big cans, and another can. 3 cans of beans, and these little ones for the food security. Now we got it added. They're all cleaned with disinfectant, and we're gonna put this backpack on, and we're gonna go to the mountain from the Dragon Slayer. Rock and roll, you know it is for the cooks. For the cooks today. Let's go rock and roll 24/7. Independent, happy artist, athlete, philosopher. Let's load up this backpack. And we're gonna put it on. It's a sunny day but cold. It is what is supposed to be, yours truly. So we're gonna go to the mountain, yours truly. You already know. Thank you, public workers. Pick up the garbage and pick up the garbage yesterday. All the public workers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks. Yours truly in steel-toe boots. In steel-toe boots, saluting the farmers, butchers, bakers, nurses, rock and roll. Yours truly today for the cooks. For those cooks, those cooking in the kitchens. The young cooks, the old cooks, all the cooks. All those cooks across North America now. On this march, I'm gonna do meditations. Imagining, of course, all the cooking that's being done. In real time, of course, I'm not live streaming because I'm working with a laptop. My work though, sometimes we gotta work with what we got. The body is a temple for pleasure and purpose, you already know. Support this independent aspie artist, athlete, philosopher whose joy to work out, train, exercise, and movement is part due to my obsessions being aspie. If you're an aspie, got that Asperger's, you know that. We aspies are a tiny minority, less than 1% of the entire population of the world, who's got my syndrome and condition known as Asperger's, being an aspie. Yours truly, of course, is obsessed about the study of geopolitics and geopolitical analysis, and I'm an independent geopolitical analyst and theorist, a philosopher, and of course, the study of civilizations, the civilizational studies, sports, dancing is my favorite sport, and of course, public hygiene, you know that I open carry that disinfectant. Gotta give a shout out to the construction workers, those construction workers, of course, who are at the top. On those cranes, we gotta salute, cheer on. If you want to build more buildings, it is them first and foremost which we gotta salute, we gotta cheer on and encourage, because they build these buildings like this. And I'm a fan of skyscrapers. I'm a fan. Rock and roll for the construction workers, although always including my anonymous sister friend, the youth of the empire for the empire. Support this independent aspie artist, athlete, philosopher. Gonna put this glove on and we're gonna go rock and roll to the mountain, my second home from here in my neighborhood. There's gonna be a lot of marching in steel-toe boots with meditation, of course. Gotta put those gloves on, auctioning all the clothes that I'm wearing, 93% of them. And of course, auctioning the shoes, auctioning the glasses, auctioning everything, whatever offer, make an offer. North America, PayPal only, or the boots. These boots, BOLTS, have served me to march all more than all the generals of NATO combined. Let's go that NATO. Today's for the cooks. What is Operation Defender? We got to integrate citizen integration theory. Yours truly. Support the dream. For public-private partnership across the collective North American civilizational complex. Across the complex of North American civilization. And gotta salute those on the cranes. You know I'm a fan of cranes. I love cranes. And of course, cranes, of course, are something that I love. And I'm a fan of cranes. I'm a fan of construction workers. And of course, I'm a fan of those cranes. It is cranes that enable us, of course, to build skyscrapers and, of course, to go up. See? Look at that. Look at that big crane. See, it's a big crane. It enables us, of course, to build, construct, and build and construct more and more. And it enables us to go up. Without the cranes, it would not enable us to build big buildings, tall buildings, or skyscrapers of any sort. So those cranes, actually I'm a fan of cranes, and those crane workers and the farmers, the butchers, the bakers, always included in my march. Meditative march for world peace, as well as an independent artist, aspie, philosopher, keeping the movement. 77 pounds down, working out, training and exercising has been, is and shall be my medicine and therapy of choice. And of course, it's always good to rock and roll 24/7, and of course to keep in mind a positive vibration idea that if you get some sun, you gotta enjoy it and take a little bit. That's my Pope, the King, the Sun. And please, no food waste, and don't leave it garbage in the public, because of course you got to put that garbage in the garbage, or if it's recycling, the recycling, because in the public, my brothers and sisters, you know, myself included, got added responsibilities, duties and obligations. And yeah, I did clean that toilet bowl, took a shower, swept a bit the floors, and I get dirty but I get back clean, not perfect, far from it, don't pretend to be perfect. And I'm an independent aspie, androgynous aspie with amnesia. I got that RA retrograde amnesia, so lots of scars, been through suffering, depressed and suicidal. I've conquered depression about 6 years ago when I crossed coast to coast with the greatest woman I know. If I make a million, I'm gonna give her half. If I make a million, gonna give her half a billion, gonna give her half a trillion, gonna give her half of whatever the case may be. And of course, all things due to my allies and armies. Ooh, pledge your allegiance, legions to our family. Super important to glance a little bit of the sun and get a little bit of that sunshine. It's always good to get a little bit of sun and feel good. You know, when I work out, train, exercise, when I'm active, I feel good. And I encourage and call for the mass financing of an active lifestyle. You know, I cannot stress enough the importance of regular physical exercise. It has been, is, and will continue to be my medicine and therapy of choice. And I've been calling and advocating, of course, for the mass financing of citizens to work out, train, exercise. And it really feels good, and I really feel joyous when I work out. And even though it's my time to pass, of course, even if it's my time to pass, of course, gotta turn that head left and right, left and right, left and right, left and right. When you cross the street, of course, turn that head left and right, and going towards the mountain in the sun. And I appreciate it. And of course, I always say my gratitude. I noticed that since I died of COVID, it's gonna be, soon it's gonna be, I'm gonna be celebrating 4 years of my surviving COVID. You know, it was like death, pestilence, and disease for me. It was like death, pestilence, and disease for me. It was like death, pestilence, and disease for me, you know, that COVID. And here I am, survivor of COVID, survived depression, being suicidal. So I'm gonna state my gratitude, as I always like to do. Super important for me to say great my gratitude, because today my rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, got food and coffee, and got food, got those cans, you know, which I loaded up. They're not that heavy in the backpack, but of course I got maybe 22 pounds with the backpack weight, so I got a little bit of weight on it, so it's gonna add a little bit for the workout. And again, friendly reminder that your fitness journey commences, starts today, my brothers and sisters. We got some public gyms which I'm gonna be hitting up, maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, maybe Thursday, that public gym. But today we're marching to the mountains, the second day in a row. Maybe tomorrow morning we're gonna go hit that gym up in that south, and then come back to drop a little bit of business. Maybe I'll try to go see when the sunrise is, try to get that early and get it done. And of course, it's super important, again, to stay active. So once again, I want to say my gratitude. I'm grateful, thankful today that my rent's paid and electricity bill's paid, and got food, you know, got that food. Food security starts with the farmers. And today we're marching for the cooks, as I like to dedicate my marching events, dancing events, art, for the cooks, and for whatever the case may be in terms of the cooks. We're now cooking, you know, cooking east, west, north, south, across North America. And of course, we gotta get that rock and roll as we go. Of course, we head up all the way to the mountain, and gotta turn our heads left and right when we cross the streets. Although the citizen driver there has a stop sign, see, that is a stop sign. You never know, brakes might malfunction, and it's possible that brakes malfunction, that the citizen driver presses the accelerator. By pressing the accelerator or the brakes, it's always a possibility that these things occur, you know. So we gotta take that double prudence and gotta make that vigilance as a citizen now in the public, right? I got added responsibilities, duties, and obligations, which if I would have stayed in my underground room, Office Temple, which is my underground dragon's lair, I wouldn't have not had the same obligations, duties, and responsibilities and in the public. And yes, I'm an aspie, got those Asperger's symptoms, and I've been learning more over the years to deal with it and accept it, and lost a lot of friends, made a lot of friends in the past years, and during COVID and before a little bit of COVID and in the past 7 years, but lost a lot of friends, and you know, and I learned to accept it. Yes, I'm a weirdo, but I'm also a great, super and excellent geopolitical analyst and theorist, a student, scholar of civilizations, and an independent athlete who likes dancing is my favorite sport. And I'm also 1/7 of a comedian and an artist athlete AA, and in parallel with another AA, Aspie with amnesia, who's now in these steel-toe boots, loves to go to the mountain, my second home, and I love to go do a little bit of environmental work there, and of course to clean the mountain, of course, that is there, the mountain, of course, from flora and fauna, and of course to clean the mountain from flora and fauna, because a lot of people leave, of course, things which shouldn't be left there, you know, things which shouldn't be left, things like garbage, plastic and cans. So I do a lot of volunteering, less the winter, I say. I only found a few the winter in the snow, but usually springtime and summertime and autumn. So please, if you go to my second home, my favorite place, it's not just mine, it's mine, yours, ours. It's public, just like this public pedestrian street. So I do, of course, advise and encourage you all to please make an effort. Please make an effort. Please make an effort to throw the utensils or whatever have you, plastic or garbage, throw them either in the garbage if they go in the garbage, or if they go in the recycling, please put them in the recycling. That's all my call, since we got a lot of flora and fauna there, and it's environmental protection for the mountain, and we gotta all do our part in the environment. Again, turn your heads left and right. We cross the street here. See, I'm doing it 3 times, 1, 2, 3, because see, they got a stop sign there, and there are all 4 corners. That's south, 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 that's north, and I'm heading east, right? I'm marching towards the east now. I'm marching towards the east. For the cooks, always for my allies and armies, my anonymous sister friend who deserves to be 7 times richer than Oprah. I said, my anonymous sister friend deserves to be 7 times richer than Oprah. My anonymous sister friend deserves to be 7 times richer than Oprah, and I gotta get that. A little bit of construction workers here, because they rock, and I'm a fan of construction workers, and construction workers rock, and they be on the rock, they be on the rock, they be on the rocks, and anyway, so I admire those construction workers a little bit, and it's always fun to hear them have fun and be in security. And gotta give a shout out for the construction workers, because they're the ones that build it, and there's the one that build it there, and they need some loving and encouragement, man, because they're on the ground there, you know. I hear a lot of politicians, and I'm a centrist, you know, Rainbow Dragon right here, Rainbow Dragon philosopher, calling for a public-private partnership with the dancing goddess and the Dragon Kingdom. But my brothers and sisters, if I have a 1-hour radio show, 1-hour television show, it wouldn't be that I wouldn't say, you know, send a bit of love, a bit of rock and roll to the butchers, bakers, construction workers, nurses, doctors, public workers, now the cooks, right? Even that firefighters, love you firefighters, and the ambulance drivers, first responders, and all on the field now, all on the ground. I like to keep it fit, and actually when I just saw that construction site, and I hear a lot in the past year, a lot in 2023, 2022, and during COVID, and more and more in the past weeks, months, and in the past year, that of course we need to build more buildings. And construction workers, they're the ones gonna build it. They rock and roll. We gotta encourage them, and I want to hear more mention when you discuss, you know, whatever it is, bureaucracy and whatever they have you, and that first and foremost is our construction workers. Be baby for the construction workers in those steel-toe boots. I love you. Build some more skyscrapers in the housing. It's there that build it, man. Gotta keep it real sometimes, you know, and gotta get them some love. And I dance, I cheer them for them. And you know, if I want somebody to cheer me as an independent athlete artist, and all my allies and armies are my family, well, we gotta have a little bit of joy and humor, you know, with it, because, you know, we ain't perfect. I'm not perfect, but one thing I know, we're gonna play Dragon Army defense. You know, we're gonna play that D, because Montreal, really, it's all I know. Got in that amnesia, and although I do believe in reincarnations, and I had many flashes and spiritual mystic events which revealed my past lives, and here I am. I was born right here as a Quebecer in a past life, close to the mountain where I helped Louis Cyr push some horses on a cart in 1904. So anyways, double trouble. I think it was February. It was cold too, so she was strong, but she had to need some help because there were a lot and it was cold. So I helped that Louis Cyr, you know, do a little bit of pushing of the horses in the past life, and here I am marching in these steel toe boots. We gotta go around because, of course, it's full of mud there. See, that could potentially freeze, and I didn't want to step in it. Of course, if I would have stepped in it, of course, it would have been causing, of course, a lot of damage. And a lot of damage, of course, to my steel toe military grade boots. And I gotta turn my head left to right. See, before I cross the street here, because you never know, you know, might malfunction. The brakes might malfunction, you know, and of course, the brakes, the citizen driver might press the accelerator instead of the brakes. So you never know, you know. It's possible when you turn the corner there, like, you gotta check left and right, because the citizen driver might press the accelerator. It's a possibility by mistake. What if the brakes don't function, right? So we gotta double check ourselves sometimes and make the due diligence. And of course, remember that in the public, as citizens, we got added responsibilities, duties, and obligations and dimensions, which of course add to our responsibilities, duties, and obligations. Because I would have stayed home in my underground dragon's lair, I would have not had the same ones. Right? I would have not had the same obligations, duties, and responsibilities. It would have been different. But I go to my second home from my dragon's lair. I go to my second home, about 7.7 kilometers, and I go marching, and that's what it is. It's about, depending which route I take. If I take this route, if I change it a little bit, I deviate a little bit, it's going to be more, but this route is about 7.7 kilometers to the base of the mountain. So it's a considerable amount of marching power march, of course. And of course, it keeps me in shape, you know, losing weight. Weight loss journey continues, and I don't want to lose much weight now, but I was depressed and suicidal. What got me out of depression again, I repeat it again, that when I crossed Canada coast to coast, I got out of depression. I said so many things. I mean, that event got me out of depression. So many things I said are to live for in this country of mine, Canada, and so many things to see across North America. As I was born in the USA twice in past incarnations, previous incarnations and past lives. Was born post 1776 in the United States Army. I was born post 1776 in the United States Army, post 1776. Was born that way south in the USA, United States of America. I was born twice, and both times I've served in the United States Army. So I'm also speaking to my American brothers and sisters. And now this late hour, as we know, you know, I'm a geopolitical analyst and theorist who had predicted the situation which is unfolding now in many ways back in October 2019, just before I had COVID. I had COVID at the end of January until about February, mid-February or so. It was like 22 days. See here, we got to turn left and right, left and right, left and right. Double check. Always good to double check and see if I see somebody with a cart. I always try to go to the extreme so that I don't bother. And I'm going to try to be more silent, because if there's a child in the carriage, I'm going to be slow. I'm going to slow my steps. Slow my steps because, of course, there's the person with the child and the children for the youth, which I love our youth, you know. I love children, and I did write some children's books, and you know, I always say to my brother Bill Blair, Minister of National Defense, that if our Canadian Armed Forces, got love for you, salute rock and roll for our brothers and sisters who put on the uniform, let's join public-private partnership Dragon Army. But if y'all gonna defend somebody coast to coast, y'all gotta go change some diapers in the daycares with me. and read some books with me to the children, because why are we putting the uniform to defend for? Right, is this 40 million Canadians coast to coast? That's all I really know. I wish world peace, brothers and sisters. I woke up a few years ago, depressed, suicidal, a little bit sick, and got out of depression. That event when I crossed Canada coast to coast, I said so many things to see and propelled me so back to life slowly, and started working out, training and exercising. Lost 77 pounds, and gotta get that drill. And my fitness journey created their own workout training program system. So of course, it is of course those who will it, and those who of course will to work out, train and exercise, and of course to encourage to mass. People do mass workout, train and exercise. People do mass workout and train and exercise. And I turned that. Gotta turn that head left and right. Gotta turn that head left and right. And go to the mountain. So that got me out of depression. I started feeling good, and feeling super good, and I started feeling great. Started feeling excellent. Started feeling better. And then I had COVID. Survived it, and did so many workout videos, hundreds of them. You can see hundreds of workout training program videos on my Facebook and YouTube, and now I'm proud to have created a workout training program system which requires no equipment, which is easy, effective, simple to do in the terms that it requires no equipment. It requires no equipment, but it's simple and effective, and it increases general overall fitness. It increases general overall fitness. That's what it meant to do. And paradoxically, again, the paradox of me having Asperger's, being an Aspie, Aspies, we're obsessed about a certain narrow, specific interest. So mine, being one of them, being sports, fitness, dancing is my favorite sport. Being that one of them is fitness, I have created, studied, and based on my learning of fitness, I've created a simple, effective workout training program which requires no equipment. And which is of course what it does, my workout does, it increases general overall fitness. My workout increases general overall fitness. There I go, I got plenty of seconds to cross. So that is my workout called General Integrated Total Body Training System, aka the Dragon Army. Before I go on now, we're gonna go on a meditation, because today we're marching for the cooks. Those cooks, who's cooking now? French fries, bagels, potatoes, pizzas. Who's making a salad? Who's making that pasta? Who's making across North America? Cooks in the restaurant, from the big cities, small cities, from my metropolis island, 2.5 million people. Cooks of North America, big rainbow dragon hugs. Marching, celebrating the cooks as I march every other day, celebrating with a dedication for construction workers, cooks, whatever the case may be. And gotta turn my head left and right. And Dragon Army, we're an all cleaning, all kissing, all cooking, all washing army. That's why public-private partnership, North America defense, security and service, defense, public-private partnership for defense, security and service. That's what I'm calling for, and we're right here. Under this steel toe boots, rainbow dragons support the dream. The dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom manifesting for a public-private partnership, and laying the foundations of that public-private partnership, first and foremost with trillions of kisses. Trillions. A trillion is 1,000 billion, a billion is 1,000 million. What trillions of kisses for the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom, for the regeneration, rebirth, and defense and prosperity of the collective North American civilization, or the North American civilizational complex, of which my brothers and sisters in Mexico, Canada, US, and from Quebec, La Belle Province, and Haiti, the islands, Cuba is a paradox, but the islands are also part of our civilizational complex. So I include them all in the North American complex in North America, but today, as always, is dedicated to a specific group of workers, or whatever case may be, across science or space exploration or food security. Starts with our farmers, food security. and my rock and roll ways, Rainbow Dragon, and gotta send some love to the cooks. Who's cooking now? What's cooking for us to eat? Bagels, cheeseburgers, vegan food, non-vegan food, all food. To get those calories, get those proteins, to change the baby's diapers, to get a little bit of public works, to pick up those garbages. Right there, that's in the public. Thank you public workers. We're gonna pick up those garbage and that recycling. Thank you to the public workers who picked up the garbage yesterday. From my place, those are athletes. When I see them coming on those big machines, you know, those big trucks, say, look at that, athletics. They're athletes. For me, they're athletes. And you know, I see them on the big cars, and those big trucks, and we need more big trucks, more big cars. I'm just gonna be careful here, although it's my way to cross. Just gotta be careful. I got 9 seconds, I got plenty of time. 6, 7, 3 seconds. Now I'm gonna cross the other way. The garbage bag was too full for me to put in it. So I'm gonna put it here. Thank you, Public Works. Put it in the garbage, and so I'm gonna throw it in the garbage properly, because if I would have put it there, it was too full, it would have fallen down. And just gonna be careful for my brothers and sisters here. To the mountain we go. I think I already put in more marching steps than the many generals of NATO. Turn your heads left and right when you cross the street. See? Here there's a stop. That's north and that's south. So I'm going east. See? There's only stop signs, north and south. There's no stop east and west, as you notice there. So there's an added security risk. There's an added danger for pedestrians such as myself. As in contrast to if it would have been 4 corners like this intersection, all the stop signs are at 4 corners, right? So they're east, west, north, south. So there's safer than the other one, because the other one had only at the north, south. So all those things we got to be aware of in public, right? So here is more secure to cross the streets, right? And this is even one way. So nobody can come in theory from there unless they make a mistake, right? Unless they make a mistake. Because see, that's one way. So it goes north, it goes to the north only. It doesn't go north-south. So it's a one way, it goes north. If it can be one way, it can go south. So we got to be balanced, in equilibrium with our brothers and sisters who are drivers now, right? They're driving, and they're driving, got to be safe, and got to be in balance, in harmony with mine. Just like now I got to stay to my right with my fellow citizen pedestrian so that we don't interject each other's liberty and security. My liberty, and I consider this my work, meditative work, marching, and for my fitness as well, and doing this vlog and across Montreal, and marching, encouraging you all, whoever sees this, nobody watching, but encouraging, of course, you all to work out, to train, and to exercise, which is good for the health. It's good for mental health. It's good for the body. And it's good for us. For me, I always say that my fitness journey starts today. Or starts today. I'm gonna try to adopt the no bad day motto. You know, no bad day. And yes, I've been suffered, I've been suicidal and struggled, been depressed, and been probably repressed, who knows, the youth, because I don't remember, you know, amnesia, retrograde amnesia, RA. I just remember moving to a better place, and maybe amnesia was caused, usually by retrograde amnesia, the loss of memories prior to an onset, beginning of a disease or a trauma, which one experiences. Myself, it could have been a trauma or a disease. Turn your heads left and right. Turn your heads left and right. Disease, it was mold, lots of mold where I used to live. It's better where I live now, so I'm grateful for it, although I want a little bit better. Try to increase every day, but I want something better for the whole world, and I'm not totally selfless. I'm not totally selfless. I'm not totally selfless. I want something for myself. I want something for others as well, you know. Try to get a little bit of balance, a bit of harmony for self and for the others, and while admitting that I have the lower self as well. You know, sometimes I'm still moody. I want the lower self as well. I have the lower self. I have it, but I work on it. You know, I try to not be totally selfish. Sometimes I'm a POS myself. Yes, I can be a centrist, philosopher, rainbow, you know, this and that. But of course, I gotta keep it in motion and gotta watch out for my fellow youth here, the empire, youth of the empire. I love the youth and the future. And gotta encourage them to work out, train, exercise, you know, and it's always a constant. I have my protocols for North American Collective Civilizational Studies and protocols for studies and educational protocols from the daycare to high schools, and more physical activity, more studies and integration. It's necessary, and I love me this building here. And I still didn't check what's the Ionic or Doric, whatever it is, Doric or Ionic, whatever the case may be in terms of those gates. This is very nice. Yeah. I love to see my youth happy, man, and happy and joyous and dancing in the streets. Like my children, I don't have any, but I can see all my Canadian North Americans. Of course, the children, of course. I saw them hopping in such a little way, just hopping up and down, and it brought me joy, you know, the youth and this high school, and you know, they started back, so doing a little bit of exercising always bring me joy. They were smiling and laughing, so that's what I want, because that's the motto of the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, to see, of course, people smiling and they were going up and down and hopping up and down and hopping up and down and smiling and laughing. So if I can make somebody laugh and joyous, I'm up for that profession. I'm a best dancer and 1/7 of a comedian, and love that humor, and I just love to see them bouncing up and down and dancing. Maybe they heard a little bit of music and singing from the music for the youth. And I dance best for the dancing goddess. And of course, it's always LOV and always a work in progress to do, and like going to the mountain. But anyways, this is a building which I love right there. Right there. It's got those pillars, you know. Those pillars there, those pillars there, and got those pillars, and I don't know if they're Ionic, Doric, or Corinthian, but I still have to check, because you know I like that architectural style there, but I don't know what it is. Is it Doric, Ionic, or Corinthian? So I'm still to check what is the pillar type. Is I know it could be either of the three, Ionic, Doric, or Corinthian. So I gotta double check again. I'm gonna put these gloves on. Is it getting colder? Getting colder, and here we're at the corner of West Mount Victoria, and I know somebody who deserves to live in houses like this, because of course my anonymous sister friend, who if I make $1 million gonna give her half, $1 billion gonna give her half, $1 trillion gonna give her half, deserves to be 7 times richer than Oprah. And, see, I do my effort, so there's an effort to stay to the right when I of course march, because somebody coming jogging, and love to see people jog, and with the dog, of course I got to keep in mind that my allergies to certain species of dogs and dog breeds, except for poodles, have to be in consequence, and have to encourage to people to work out, like my fellow citizen who's working, doing that jog, encourage him to do some more jogging, and encourage you all to start your fitness journey today and to get that love and it brought me extra joy, love, to see the youth a little bit dancing in the streets, and that'll be our safety of our youth and loving our seniors and loving the firefighters, loving the butchers, loving the youth, loving the children. Love is also action, action, and this is my family here, Quebec, Canada, North America, cousins and cousinettes, and we now family. Sometimes we're dysfunctional, but that's all we got, and all I really know, as much as I know from the studies of hundreds of books, literature, and education is a constant daily thing, always learning, always make mistakes on the daily. But of course, that this island is all I really know. I mean, I know from my studies the world, and I'm a world peace and advocating reincarnations or whatever have you. But of course, I really know this island more, being amnesia would ask me with amnesia, and everything that I read, and I spent a few years with like 1 foot in the streets, 1 foot in the libraries, 1 foot in the streets, 1 foot in the libraries, 1 foot in the streets, 1 foot in the libraries, and of course, got love. I want to be loved. More somebody say you're gonna be famous. I say, well, more than famous, I want to be loved, and I have no debt. Got that 10,500, and I've been having employments during COVID. Short-lived employments, not that short-lived, but Aspies, a lot of Aspies, we struggle with maintaining employment and having that due to whatever it is. And I'm gonna make extraordinary claims and ignorant, because I also don't like to assume much. I'm ignorant of so many things: satellites, supercomputers, ICBM rockets, microchips, which I do design. In a parallel life, I do build those supercomputers and ICBM rockets in a parallel life, but in this life, I'm more of a philosopher, more of an artist, more of a geopolitical analyst and theorist, and Aspie with amnesia, AA, who's also a philosopher, the world's greatest living, dancing, millennial rainbow poet, fundamentally, who calls all to support the PPP, public-private partnership, the dancing goddess in the dragon kingdom, and encouraging you all to turn your heads left and right when you cross the street again. But see here, there's a stop sign. That's north, and me, I'm going east, and that's south. So here at the corner, there's 4 stops. So there's a stop sign at all the 4 intersections. So it's safer than if it would have been an intersection where, of course, they wouldn't have been the same. It would have been an intersection where they would have only been to the north, to the south, or to the east, to the west. There's an added security risk, added dimension, and of course, I love me, so I'm gonna be careful when my fellow jogger comes, and I encourage you all to jog, and of course to be careful across the street and to get that LOV, to get myself out of the way. That's good. Fellow citizen there jogging so powerfully, and I encourage that, and I always like to see people jogging, and gotta get that love, man. Wearing my favorite color, love, and going on the jog. I really love that. It's so powerful, way better than me. I can jog on the steel toes, but I always like to see people working out, training and exercising, like my fellow citizen there could be my cousin, in my family, so gotta watch out for you. And I am financially stressed, yes. I am financially stressed. No donations and little offer for business, but I'm grateful, because I keep it carpe diem, man, carpe diem. We'll hope for tomorrow, better days and better world with better days for myself and for others. And I also like to do that matchmaking. I always like to see people holding hands and like giving acts of goodness and kindness. And when I hear people doing charity, of course, is something that I will to do, of course, myself, if I would be in the position. But I got kisses and, of course, tickles and hugs, and takes that brains to build, and the maintenance of civilization has been requiring brains and muscle, and is requiring brains and muscle, as of course brains and muscle is required at the moment in time now. And I'm always joyous nowadays and get a little bit of joy, contentment, but although stressed financially, grateful that my rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, got food and coffee, and I can be overly verbose as you see my videos, you know. Asperger things, we got symptoms. I got most of the Aspie symptoms, my obsessions. Like many Aspies, we're obsessed about certain interests. Myself, geopolitics. I'm a geopolitical analyst and theorist, and the study, analysis of civilizations, and sports myself. Dancing is my favorite sport, but football, of course, whatever have you, and all the sports, and public hygiene as well. So those are kind of my obsessions. And in a paradoxical way, of course, I created a workout training program system designed to go hand in hand with a World War III scenario, which kind of, based on my analysis and theoretics and deep intellectual analysis on the points of view of contention in the geopolitical world, of course. And of course, I've predicted to what was going to happen in many ways, and many things have, of course, happened. And there it is, the crow. The crow who cheers the dragon on. Where are my legions, Vigil? Legions, legions. I'm gonna take a picture of that crow a little bit. The crow says, dragon, I know your secrets, but I also know theirs, but I cheer you on, so. And that's that crow. I love crows. And the crow says, I love you too. Also, dragon, they're cheering me on. So it's always good when I get a little bit of cheering from the crows. And let's take a little bit of a detour, taking a little bit of pictures of the field here. That clock is always 7. It's been 7 years, that's 7. So it's correct in the PM and in the AM. So that clock there is always 7. And it's been, of course, 7 years, that's 7 there, the clock. And I'm grateful, thankful for this sun, of course, which is a nice sun right there. And gonna take a little bit, so we're gonna get in time to dance in the sun a little bit, do some dancing in the sun, but we're gonna do a little bit of a detour from here. Not really a big detour, but just we're gonna go around about Westmount like this. And again, grateful, thankful that my rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, got food and coffee. And I am a great, super and excellent geopolitical analyst and theorist. I predicted in many ways the situation which is unfolding now, which has been unfolding during COVID and back in 2019 in October, because I came to a conclusion back then. And it is the things that obsess me, and like many Aspies, you know, I don't know, some say people, Elon Musk is an Aspie, I don't know, gotta sit down there, I don't know, and I do know this, I do have Asperger's, and I, like many Asperger's, I might say things twice or 3 times, repeat things. If I discuss the things that I'm obsessed about, I will discuss overly verbose, using too much language, I'm not able to stop maybe, from the diatribe of the analysis or the dialogue or whatever the case may be. And got my obsessions, you know, like topics of interest, and which I am super focused and about, but also do gestures with the hand or whatever it is, the body movements seem ritualistic like. And, you know, I might seem to stare at people. I don't mean to, I got Asperger's, but I might seem to stare at people. I got Asperger's, so it's part of the Asperger's conditions. I might stare at people too much, like for comfort and stuff like that, or get too close for comfort for people. It's, I'm an Aspie, I got Asperger's, but I don't intend harm. I'm only for defense. I fight my own battles, you know, and I'm proposing for the defense, union service, collective North American civilization, and for world peace, of course, because I'm a world peace advocate. But really, all I know is this island right here, and this island right here is all I really know. And all I really is as much as I am a world peace advocate as well. All from the readings and previous incarnations, I was born from ancient Egypt, ancient Rome, ancient Babylon, ancient Sumer, across the world. I was born several past lives, incarnations from thousands of years, but here I am today on this 23rd confirmed. It is the 23rd of January. 44 minutes into the video, into the vlog, work. If I know somebody who deserves to live in houses like that, well, it's my anonymous sister or friend who is always included in my marches. Along with the farmers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, all involved in the production and the distribution of food. All involved in the production and the distribution of food. And of course today, for the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the grocery store clerks. All the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the grocery store clerks. Farmers with it. You know, we gotta get that farmers, and today marching for farmers. Today's first and foremost for the cooks, but it takes farming to cook, right? So he takes the takes the produce, the beef, the rutabagas. I love rutabagas. Farmers of rutabagas. I get free kisses, free rock and roll. And gotta turn my head left and right before I cross the street. I'm going back on Westmount now, so kind of did like a little bit of a snake, a little bit of a snake, a little bit of a snake, and of course, we're going to the mountain. You already know. We're going to the mountain, that's for sure. And you know, we gotta get that nature and civilization in harmony. And my brothers and sisters, civilization is a privilege. That was my thesis back at the beginning of 2023. That was my thesis back at the beginning of 2023. That was my thesis. Civilization is a privilege. Back at 2023, in January, February, I presented my thesis as the people's doctor who has studied and suffered and learned, and here I am. Content, I would say, a little bit joyous. A little bit happy on the... I'm always feeling good when I work out, trying to exercise, you know. It's always a feel good, and it's always a constant thing which I gotta be aware of myself, my lower nature. Turn our heads left and right. See? Here there's no stop when the cars come from the west going east, because I'm going east coming from the west. But the only stop is north and south. So that's north and that's south. So there's an added security risk dimension for the security when you cross the street, in contrast to what it would have been if you would have had the 4 stops, north, east, west, south, right? So there's an added security risk right there, right? There's an added security risk. And now, of course, I'm going to discuss my DRT theory, brothers and sisters, but before I do, I want to say again for the cooks, let's do a meditation for the cooks again. Cooks, what you cooking with that dough? What you cooking on the stove? Cooking on the stove. Got some eggs and got some bacon, got some bread and got some cheese. Putting up for world peace. Food security with the farmers. Gotta get those truckers on the truckers. Gotta get those hands clean. Hygiene in those gloves. Sanitation when you cook. Sanitation when you cook. Gotta get that clean. And the butchers and the bakers. Gotta get that sanitation. Gotta get that. Cook some bacon. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. Oh, now I can cross. But doing a meditation, how much cooking has been done now just in my island, Montreal? How many eggs were cooked? There's a definite number in the real world, like it's mathematics, if we are to kind of categorize statistically, and how much bread in quantity, right? It could be white bread, rye bread, brown bread, different kinds of breads, right? And all sorts. And then you got meat, beef, chicken, salads, beets, potatoes, legumes, carrots, vegetables, onions. And how many were cooked? Well, you got, now in real time, there's a certain amount of number, right? So saluting the cooks, because the cooks got to put the labor, got to put the energy, so we got to be mindful of that. So how many sandwiches have been made in Montreal now? I don't know how many foods across the CLSSDs, in the schools, in the high schools, in the, of course, colleges, and for the restaurants, and the government, and the vending machines, and all the food which now exists. There's a definite number. Like I know the number in my backpack. I got 3 cans, right? I got 3 cans. So I got 3 cans. I got 3 cans and 3 little bars. And in my pocket, I got 3 little tangerines. So I know how much food I got on me. Right? How much food I got on me, X, Y, Z, a certain amount of numbers. And of course, gonna turn my head left and right. And before I cross the street here, gotta be patient. and I gotta cross now after my fellow citizens drivers crossed. So I gotta be patient. And oh yeah, I know this house here, this would be perfect for my anonymous sister friend, but it doesn't say for sale, but it's something that I like about it. Or any house here would be actually nice, but she's gonna take a picture of it because I really like it there, and I would love to own a house. I would love to own a house. I would, of course, love to own a house, and I don't own a house at the moment, but of course another discussion now that houses are less and less affordable for millennials, of course. For millennials like myself, being a millennial and other generation, and we got financial problems, and for a lot of people are financially stressed, myself included, you know, but open for business, for donations, and of course we gotta go keep it on the road, and going to the mountain, going to the mountain. Gonna discuss my DRT theory, but again I'm gonna do a little bit of rock and roll for the cooks. For the cooks. So the cooks across North America, I see you. I see the cooks. The hands. Hey, gotta wash those hands. Hey, gotta wash those hands. Gotta wash those hands. Put on some gloves. Put on some gloves. Put on some gloves. We gotta get sanitation and hygiene, and I can do better, and I do better every day. I do better every day. You know, I'm far from perfect. I did scrub the bowl earlier, and gotta scrub it when I go back tonight and tomorrow again. And public hygiene, I open carry my disinfectant, and that's one of my obsessions in the public. You know, public hygiene is something that, of course, I tend to obsess about as an aspect parallel to sports and fitness. Dancing is my favorite sport, and of course civilizational studies and the study of civilizations and geopolitics. Those are my obsessions, and parallel to the sub-obsessions which some Asperger's have, and it can be whatever, but finance is included in the civilizational studies, public finance, and you can always learn more. But I do know that where we are now, the only solution as a solution is, of course, my DRT theory. My brothers and sisters, there's no other way now, at least where we are from this point of view, but my DRT theory. So now where we are, there's no solution but my DRT, with myself being $10,000, $500 in debt. So now I'm going to discuss the DRT theory. It stands for debt refusion theory. And the paradox now that I'm going to discuss the DRT theory while crossing the most affluent, richest, well-off economically, commercially, financially at least, neighborhood in Montreal and in Quebec, and one of the, actually in the world actually. Well, so that's another bit of a paradox. Myself, I'm rich. I'm the richest in kisses in the world. The richest in kisses in the world. I'm the richest in kisses in the world. Kisses and tickles and rock and roll. I think also rock and roll 24/7 for the butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, without many arrivals. But I'm looking more for cooperation than competition. I'm looking more for cooperation than competition. I'm looking more for cooperation than competition, to be honest with you. And I'm open more for a little bit of a 21st century competitive cooperation, you know, where we can have win-win, 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 and mutually beneficial, and not like the winner takes all, whatever have you. And we gotta check our balance here because it's a little bit steep, so I just gotta be prudent so I don't slip. So I'm gonna have to wait, and if I cross the street, because it's gonna be slippery on the slip. So now the DRT theory explains. So the DRT theory, debt refusion theory, explained, of course, for the creation of the UE. So keep in mind that my DRT theory includes the theory known as monetary integration. The theory known as monetary integration. Monetary integration. Monetary integration. Monetary integration. So my theory includes monetary integration, which is exactly what they did in the European Union. So the Germans got rid of the German mark, they adopted the euro. The Italians got rid the lira. They adopted the euro. The French got rid of the franc and they adopted the euro. Many countries, some have retained their old currencies and have retained their old currencies, and my DRT theory contains monetary integration theory. This is basically what they did in Europe. Monetary integration theory. It's basically what they did in Europe. Monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory. It's basically what they did in Europe, right? So, my DRT theory explained. But first, I'm gonna show you the motive, the reason why I believe the only solution with all my heart and soul, pure, and sometimes it gets dirty, rock and roll, but I get back clean. That the DRT is the only solution where we are in terms of public and even private finance, as a record number of citizens have skyrocketed debt and debt charges, or debt servicing, in other words, paying the interest. So I'm going to show you now a picture from the CBC official data from the Bank of Canada, and those are the numbers which state in 2020, 2021, the debt servicing of the public debt, debt servicing of the public debt has reached 20.3 billion. A billion is 1,000 million, right? So 2020, 2021, it was 20.3 billion. A billion is 1,000 million. A billion is 1,000 million. A billion is 1,000 million, right? So in 2020, 2021, it was 20.3 billion. 3 years later, for the 2023-2024 year, it was 46.5 billion. 46.5 billion, right? So that's the number there, see? That's the number there. So double would have been 20.3 times 2. How much is that? That's 40.6, right? It's 40.6. So 40.6 would have been double, right? So it more than doubled to 46.5. 46.5. That is just to pay the interest on the debt. So 2020, 2021 was 20.3, and then 3 years later, 2023, 2024, it jumped to 46.5 billion. 46.5 billion. Right? So it more than double. So my brothers and sisters, this is unsustainable. This cannot be sustained. So the DRT theory, with all the imperfections, all the flaws, all the characteristics that I do have, lots of scars, asked me with amnesia AA, and woke up a few years ago, moved, and got out of depression, being suicidal, and work, independent YouTuber, and you know, who calls all to support the Dancing Goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, which is my dream for a public-private partnership across the collective North American civilization, across the collective North American civilizational complex, and across North America. To support it is, of course, something which, of course, I hold dear to, and I call all to support and implement the TRT for the defense and security and service, and for the defense and security and service. So my DRT theory, I'm gonna put on the gloves. Gonna put on the gloves. I'm gonna discuss this. So the DRT theory is taking all private and public debt. My private debt is 10,500. Mine, yours, ours, across North America. So I'm speaking across North America from a North American collective civilizational complex point of view. So a North American point of view. Quebec, Canada, US, Mexico, and the islands constitute the collective North American civilization, the North American civilizational complex. I'm going to turn on left or right. And of course, take all public and private debt, refuse it. So my debt, your debt, our debt, the public and the private of Canadians, my brothers and sisters in the USA, Mexico, Haiti, Haitian Gourd, and you know, Cuba is a paradox, and other countries of North America. And to do just like they did in Europe. So do, because the United States dollar is still the currency of choice for world trade, international finance, and global business. is still the currency of choice for international finance, global business, world trade. The United States currency, the US dollar, still is. So since that is a true fact, taking all the currency, my debt 10,500, your debt, all the Canadian public and private debt, and refuse it, whatever the number is, do the conversion of all the Canadian public and private debt, convert it into US dollars, of all the Mexican debt, converted into US dollars, Haitian good, converted into US dollars, and of course, all the debt, do the conversion, and that number, the US is going to stay the same, and with that number, all the public and the private debt converted into US dollar from North American countries and states finance the initial North American central bank or a global central bank. It could be with European Union, with others of course across the EU, across the world, Bank of International Settlements, and of course create a new currency, 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 a new currency called the UE. Stands for U dot E dot U dot, the Universal Exchange Unit. Stands for U dot U dot E dot U dot. Universal Exchange Unit, basically what the United States dollar is. So create the U, and here we are. We made it to the mountain. Somebody's jogging. Good for you, fellow jogger. Keep it up, keep on jogging. And we made it to the mountain, and I'm going to continue discussing the DRT theory. So the DRT theory, again, take all public and private debt, refuse it, and do the conversion, whatever the US dollar is at that point in time, at this point in time, do the conversion, and with that debt, all the public and private debt of North American countries converted into US dollar, that will be the initial money supply of this new financial institution, this new bank, and we can freeze the prices to fight inflation, and the prices will remain calm. We'll have standardized and support the Dragon Army, create a dancing goddess in the Dragon Army, and of course do the public-private partnership for the collective North American civilization, regeneration and defense and world peace, and of course create the Universal Exchange Unit. The Universal Exchange Unit, basically based on biometrics, the hand, the voice, and the eye unique biometric identifier. And before I continue, just want to say a little bit that whoever wants me to finance, so that I go up and down the stairs here 300 times, and gotta give a little bit thank you and shout out to those. See this dirt on it, but it's functioning well because there's of course the dirt here is actually helping in preventing the formation of ice. So it's not really dirt, it's more like gravel and salt and special rocks, tiny rocks which were put by the public works, thank you public workers, which see, there's no snow or ice on it due to those public workers and those little rocks and salt, and that was put here. So anybody want to finance that? I go up and down 300 times these stairs. Anybody want to finance that I go up and down 300 times these stairs? Anybody want to finance that I go up and down 300 times on these stairs? Anybody want to finance for a cause of your choosing? For you, for your family, for whoever will rock and roll, I will go and steal to a booth 300 times, $300 PayPal, North America only, 300 times, North America only PayPal. Let's go. We made it to the mountain. Just gonna do a little bit of rock and roll with, my little laptop, and so it took me about. I didn't start filming right away, but it took me 63 minutes to get here. So I started a little bit earlier, and then I just do a little bit of a video rock and roll, and. Yeah, we made it to the mountain. For the cooks today. For the cooks and the butchers and the bakers and the nurses in these steel toes. I encourage you all to work out, train, and exercise. Working out, training, and that exercise. Support a Dragon Army. Rainbow Dragon Dad asked me. With amnesia, I woke up here. I am right healing. Healing from the sun, with the moon dancing on, dancing for world peace, for North Americans unite up in the mountain. Let's do some push-ups. Hey, Prime Minister, President. Hey, food security starts with the farmers. Gotta get the truckers, butchers, and the railroad conductors. For the public workers, for the nurses, for the daycare workers, for the cooks. cooking something good for that North American construction workers going up those cranes up, and those working out. Please give some charity. Millionaires for the food security. Build more buildings. Gotta get that solution for the institutions, for the public-private partnership. On the mountain, here we go. Up in the snow. You know that we dance up in the road, and we work out on these steel toes, and we singing and we chanting on the homestead. You know how I hate it, and we love the province. In Montreal, you know we sing it, and we dances in the snow. And then north, Canadians coast to coast. Gotta send you some dragon love. Canadians coast to coast. I gotta send you some of that dragon love. Some of that dragon love. For the farmers and the butchers and the bakers and the nurses. For the farmers and the butchers and the bakers and the nurses. For the farmers and the bakers and the butchers and the nurses. Never forget those firefighters. And the ambulance drivers. And those construction of steel toes. Gotta get that army here we know. Gotta give my love and give me no. Gotta give her not. I don't want to know anything about it if it's not about love. Thanks for understanding. Blaster. Bye bye. Yeah. Now we're gonna switch to that French, but I'm gonna sing it again, and you know, gotta check, and I'm gonna discuss the DRT again. Just gonna check the time. So it's 1:35. 1:35. We made it here that early, but I'm gonna go a little bit of switch it to that French, and gonna discuss again the DRT, do a revision. So I'm gonna discuss the DRT theory. The DRT theory. So once again, take all the debt, public and private, refuse it, so whatever the number is, and do of course the conversion. All the debt of Canada, public and private, my 10,500 plus yours, add it all up, that plus, do the addition, add it all up, and of course do the addition, plus and plus, and add it whatever it is into the billions, trillions, and millions, and add it all up, and do the conversion, since the United States dollar is still the currency of choice for world trade, international finance, and global commerce. So do the conversion to US dollars of all the Mexican debt, public and private, in pesos, Haitian gourd, and Cuban peso, and Jamaica, and the islands, all North America, convert to US dollars, and with that finance a new financial institution, and of course to issue a new currency of exchange called the UE. Stands for Universal Exchange Unit. U. The Universal Exchange Unit. Like I said, preferably by biometrics. The hand, the voice, and the eye are unique biometric identifiers, and of course do that refusion. So all the public and the private debt, refuse it, create a new central bank institution, integrated and amalgamating and absorbed, being the IMF, the National Monetary Fund, the World Bank, IMF, World Bank, Bank of International Settlements, the Bank of International Settlements, the World Bank and IMF and institutions, and the BIS stands for Bank of International Settlements in Switzerland, and so I'm calling on Black Rock. Black Rock is Mr. Larry Fink, fellow Scorpio brothers, as I need Bill Gates, another Scorpio, and Joe Biden, also Scorpio, brother of the stars, but of course all Wall Street, all public and private institutions and finance to support the DRT theory, the debt refusion theory, and create what I call the Universal Exchange Unit. So based on biometrics, and the eye being unique biometric identifiers, and the voice, we can create and do, of course, this super currency, because that's what money is basically. It's to buy or sell. That's what money is basically, right? Money is to buy and sell, right? Money is to buy and sell goods, and we can create this new currency, and the initial money supply will be all the debt of North American countries converted into United States dollar, and the UE will be at par to the United States dollar. We can freeze the prices to fight inflation, just freeze the prices of all goods at that point in time, hopefully in coming days, weeks and months, and freeze all the prices, and of course to get a little bit of rock and roll with it. And I love to see the children here working out, training, exercising, doing a little bit of drill, and Doing a little bit of jogging, it's always good for them. Always love to see the youth when people come to work out here. And it's love to see the youth active and doing a little bit of physical activity. You got that skating rink over there, see? That's a skating rink over there. You can do skating there, and see my brother there and brother or sister there in the public works, making sure and working so that this public space, because this is public, can be accessible, and people of all ages are welcome here to come skate and slide, and he's doing the work so that people slide well and so that they have fun, and it's a good physical activity. And I always love to see people having fun here on the mountain, and it's always pleasant. It's like my second home. I always love coming here, and I always feel good. You know, when I come and when I get that drill, and I got that sun today, so I'm always double happy and joyous. And when I get a little bit of sun, and when I get to see people working out, training and exercising, when I see them physically active, and I see people physically active, it always gives me some hope, and I always feel good, you know. And gotta get that drill, gotta get all the way to the top, and all the way to the top. I'm gonna go all the way to the top, TOP! All the way to the top, TOP. Hit the steel toes. Oh, by the way, if you find pieces of cloth or people, there's if you find items, because I see some people got the items, but you can bring it to the lost and found. So we got a lost and found, so I would advise you to go to the lost and found and give it to them, because we have a lost and found here, and there's organizations which I'm willing to work on this second home, especially for not polluting that much and making sure people recycle if it need to be recycled, and put in the garbage if it need to be put in the garbage, and not go here in the garbage because it pollutes. And it's a nature preservation. We try to preserve here for the flora and the fauna of this place. We got squirrels, and we got, of course, rabbits, and we got all sorts of flora and fauna, you know, that is not, of course, good for us to pollute, because, of course, we're trying to preserve this nature here, and of course this nature is civilization, and it's right here a place of preservation, all this mountain. And we got even rabbits. We got rabbits, you can see them hop around. We got groundhogs, we got hawks. You see the hawks sometimes above, you just gotta look up. See, that's a nest there. You see? So they have their nest above, but you gotta look up and see that's a nest. But we don't know if that's a crow's nest or if it's a hawk's nest. It doesn't look like a hawk's nest, it looks more like crow's nests, right? Because I don't think the squirrels will go that high up. And you also gotta be aware here when you come that after the storms and sometimes due to the high winds, you might get some branches that crack and fall. So for your security, just also be aware of that fact if you come here, because it's not my second home, so I kind of know the mountain inside out. This mountain I know, and this island I know. North America, still learning every day, but anyway, I do know that my DRT theory, calling for its implementation, taking all private and public debt of North Americans to the conversion to the US dollars, and with that money, initial money finance, the initial money supply for a new central bank, North American integrated central bank, if you will, World Bank, International Central Financial Bank, and of course to issue the universal exchange unit, the UE, the universal exchange unit, in order to give the UE, to do the universal exchange unit, to issue the UE, a new currency based on the US dollars, to freeze all prices. This is the set then a limit of 10% interest, set a limit of 10% interest, set a limit of 10% interest on all loans thereof, on all loans thereof, on all loans thereof, on all the loans thereof, in order to do this, save the world, save the world, save the world, and North American financial disaster, which we're of course now heading into, a North American financial disaster that we're actually heading into now. You know, as I'm on this mountain and go work out and ski, man. Ski. So you got the skating there, the skating and the ski. So you got to ski, man. It's really nice. If you're into skiing and Can't afford those skis now, but look at that. It's really nice. Really nice. See, really nice. Really nice here. See? Really nice. Really nice. Really nice. And the public works got to salute because it's them that did it right here, you know, so that it functions properly, and we got to appreciate them. We got to salute them, and you know, we're gonna switch to that French because we're in La Belle Province. So here we go, rock and roll once again. Grateful, thankful that my rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, and got food, got coffee, and got food, got that coffee, got food and coffee, got food and coffee. I paid my rent and paid my electricity bill, and here I am, a little bit of that joy, of course, and gotta get that drill, and gotta get that PPP, and for the cooks, special march to the mountain, do some good mileage, good kilometers, and we're gonna go, of course, all the way to the top, to the TOP, and we're gonna go to the left, and I'm gonna go drive it in by here, see, we're gonna go to the top, by there, and then switch to that French. So what time is it now? Once again, grateful, thankful that my rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, got food, and got coffee, and I'm always joyous when I work out, train, exercise, and I'm just happy to do whatever workout, training, exercising is required, and always like it, and always feel good and active, and always feel good, and when I make it to the mountain, and encourage you all to work out, train, exercise. Working out, training, exercising has been, is, and will be my medicine and therapy of choice for me. And if you come to the mountain, please do not pollute. Support the DRT for the creation of the UE. So take all private and public debt, refuse it, convert it to the United States dollar. With that money, finance the initial. A new bank, a new 21st century financial institution bank to issue the universal exchange unit, a new currency based on the US dollar, freeze all prices, standardize the prices at that point in time, and that money supply then set an interest of maximum interest rate for all loans of 10%. It could be 7.70, 3.33, 1.56, 4.19, 7.18, 9.3, but below 10%. That's it, that's all for this English. Now we're going to switch to that French because we're in La Belle Province. Et bienvenue. Je me suis rendu à la deuxième maison chez nous, et à la montagne. Et je vous encourage à faire de l'entraînement physique. L'entraînement physique a été sera ma médecine et thérapie de choix. Et donc, je vous encourage à l'entraînement physique. Je vous encourage à l'entraînement physique. Québécois, québécoise, avec une marche à l'entraînement physique. Je vous encourage à faire de l'entraînement physique. Québécois, québécoise, je vous encourage à faire de l'entraînement physique. Ça commence dès aujourd'hui avec des pompes, avec une marche. Et aujourd'hui, la marche est dédiée aux chefs de cuisine, ceux qui travaillent dans la cuisine, les cuisiniers qui cuisinent, les patates, le fromage, un peu de bacon, du pain, des sandwichs, pizza, des soupes, peut-être avec des courges de la belle province ou des produits alimentaires de l'Amérique du Nord. Votre dragon arc-en-ciel, artiste, athlète, philosophe, de blas, artiste, athlète, parallèlement qui a l'Asperger's, l'Aspi, avec amnésie, la R-A, l'amnésie rétrograde. Ça veut dire, j'ai pas beaucoup de me souvenirs, je m'en souviens m'avoir déménagé une meilleure place, avoir sorti de la dépression et de suicidaire. Il y a 6 ans, puis j'ai commencé à m'entraîner, puis je revenais parce que je suis mort. En 2020, en fin de janvier jusqu'au moitié février. Février 2020, j'avais la COVID. C'était comme la mort, la pestilence, puis la maladie. C'était comme la mort, la pestilence, puis la maladie. C'était comme la mort, la pestilence, puis la maladie. Puis j'ai survécu la COVID. On va célébrer 4 ans en ayant survécu la COVID. Et puis, Je suis ici sur la montagne et je vous invite à soutenir mon rêve pour la renaissance de la belle province et du collectif de Civilisation Americain de côte à côte de la défense, avec un peu de comédie puis du rock&roll pour les fermiers, les infirmières, les pompiers. Je vois les pompiers, les infirmières, de ceux qui travaillent dans la sécurité alimentaire, dans les aliments, qui produisent, qui chauffent, les camionneurs, les autobus dans les autobus publics. Amour, avec de l'amour et des arts. Je vous envoie du rock'n'roll de chez nous, de Montréal, la métropole. C'est comme ma deuxième maison ici, de Mont-Royal. Puis s'il vous plaît, si vous venez ici, ne pas polluer, ne pas laisser des canettes ou de plastique, que ça soit mis dans les vidanges, puis les poubelles, que ça soit mis dans les vidanges, puis que ça soit mis dans les vidanges, parce que les travailleurs publics, on occupe à ramasser avec le recyclage aussi. Parce qu'on a la flore et la faune qu'on essaye de préserver ici dans la montagne. Ma deuxième maison, c'est pas juste ma maison. C'est la mienne, la vôtre, la nôtre, la mienne, la tienne. C'est notre. C'est public. Et dans le public, je dois moi-même faire des compromis qu'on fait pour la civilisation qu'on a faite. Le grand compromis du français. Voilà bien des années qu'on avait fait. Et on continue à le faire comme moi, mais vlog. Je travaille en ce moment indépendant. Oui, je suis en crise financière, mais je suis ouvert pour les affaires. Puis, la gratitude, c'est important. Oh, je vais l'exprimer ma gratitude avec du rock'n'roll. Et j'ai payé mon loyer pour le mois de janvier. J'ai payé mon loyer. J'ai payé ma facture d'électricité. J'ai du café puis du thé. Payé mon loyer, payé ma facture d'électricité. J'ai du café puis du thé, payé mon loyer. Payé ma facture d'électricité, puis j'ai du café puis du thé. J'ai payé mon loyer. J'ai payé ma facture d'électricité, puis j'ai du café puis du thé aujourd'hui. Fait que on avance, puis je vous encourage à faire l'entraînement physique. L'entraînement physique a été sur ma médecine et thérapie de choix, puis une belle place ici, le beau soleil, puis il fait pas si froid que ça, mais je pense que ça va descendre un peu après le coucher du soleil, qui bien sûr les jours rallongent. On est en train de voir un peu de rallongement des jours quand même. C'est visible ce 23 janvier, je trouve, parce qu'à comparer à hier, le coucher du soleil est 2-3 minutes. Plus à chaque jour, plus en retard, mais plus loin dans le fond, plus les journées deviennent plus longues. Mais jusqu'en février, peut-être, je sais pas si on remarque pas jusqu'en mi-février à peu près en mars, on commence à vraiment le remarquer au début de mars, puis à partir du mois de mars, on remarque quand même, on sent plus. Mais ça fait quand même une différence, parce qu'à partir du 25 décembre, les jours ils augmentent. Anyways, aujourd'hui pour ceux qui travaillent dans la cuisine, merci, je vous vois à travers l'Amérique du Nord, le Québec, la belle province, dans la cuisine des hôpitaux, dans la cuisine de ma grand-mère, Ginette, ma tante Ginette, dans la cuisine de mes cousines, dans la cuisine, pas de la cuisine dans la cuisine, je cuisine ma cuisine, non! Ma cuisine, dans la cuisine. On va faire un petit peu de comédie. C'est pas ma cuisine, c'est je cuisine, c'est un verbe. On va faire un petit peu de comédie. Oh, il faut pas que j'aille par ici, je pense que c'est dédié seulement aux ceux qui font du ski, je pense. Hein. Ah ouais? Je peux y aller par là, il n'y a pas de problème, ok? C'est pas interdit pour les piétons?
Ben, en fait, j'ai des traces de raquettes.
OK. Ouais. Ah, OK, merci. Ben, je vais me garder d'un bord, comme ça, je ne vais pas être dans vos jambes.
Non, ben, nous autres, on va tourner, vous allez aller tout droit.
Ouais, OK. Ouais. OK. Bonne journée à vous. Fait comme je disais, c'est pas ma cuisine, c'est la cuisine. La cuisine de ma cousine. Non, c'est pas un verbe, cousine. C'est une famille, cousine. Et je répète, bon, la cuisine de ma cousine. Hey, non, attends. Ma cousine, la cuisine dans sa cuisine, pas dans la mienne, pas dans la tienne. Eh boy, ma cousine, attends, je répète. Ma cousine, cuisine. C'est pas la cuisine qui est la famille. C'est la cousine qui fait de la cuisine dans la cuisine. Mais bon. Ah, mais là, la confusion, vous là. J'ai en train de te confondre. Bon, dans la cuisine, il y a ma cousine qui fait de la cuisine. Mais là, dans la cuisine. Ta cousine fait ma cuisine. Et on va faire un petit peu de comédie avec le français en bon. Un 7e comédien. Fait que... C'est ça la beauté du français. Hein? C'est pour ça qu'on l'aime tellement. Puis on fait des compromis. Parce qu'on peut faire de la comédie de ma cousine dans la cuisine. Qui? Dans ma cuisine, ma cousine. Hein? Oh boy, on s'en va loin avec ça? Non. Ma cuisine, c'est pas ma cousine. Ah bon, on va laisser faire. Bon, pour l'entraînement physique de la comédie, je vous encourage les Québécoises à faire de l'entraînement physique. L'entraînement physique a été travail, médecine et thérapie de choix. Et ici sur la montagne, une chanson Rock&Roll away. Ceux qui font des aliments de production, des courges, de la soupe, une soupe aux nouilles, une soupe de poule, sa cuisine, regarde, ça change les ampoules. Et les travailleurs en construction, ça monte avec du ciment puis du béton. Pour les travailleurs de l'Hydro-Québec, et merci, ah ouais, un bec, un caresse, un chatouille. Ça avec les bouches, les fesses, puis les mains s'enrouillent, les lacs. De le lac est en mien, de tant mien en taille. Regarde, pas d'argent pour une guitare, c'est pas grave. Si c'est la poésie, ça danse. La cuisine, sa cousine dans la cuisine. Regarde, la neige de la belle province, votre dragon en arc-en-ciel qui marche. Pour la Renaissance, pour les enseignants et enseignantes, les infirmières, les docteurs puis médecins, ceux qui font en bon des bains. Dans le bain puis du pain, dans le bain puis ça du pain puis du pain, et du pain ça va bien. Pour que ça chante, pour que ça danse, pour que je regarde, faut que ça fasse. 1, 2, 3 pas en arrière, puis 1, 2, 3 pas en avant. Regarde, de la gauche puis de la droite, le soleil brille, hey, ça brille, puis ça fait une nouvelle ère, tous ensemble, pour le soleil, le pape, puis la lune pleine, la déesse, bisous puis caresses. Ah, je vous aime, amour et santé, pour que ça soit encore, oui, pour que ça soit encore aujourd'hui, puis de demain, pour l'ensemble, pour un côté, ben le droit, pour un côté, ben de la gauche puis la droite, tous ensemble, pour la Renaissance. Une autre danse. Vis-à-vis, je dois remercier les plantations ici. Pour les plantations, ceux qui ont fait les plantations des arbres ici, vous voyez les arbres, puis qui ont les couleurs dessus, c'est comme des nœuds de plastique, c'est comme un petit filet, comme un petit signe dessus, puis tout ça, c'est des nouvelles plantations qu'ils ont plantées pendant l'été. Fait que je dois faire des remerciements. C'est comme des nœuds qu'on voit. Tu sais, ça, c'est tous des nouveaux. Vous voyez les petits arbres là-bas, puis les autres arbres, c'est tous des nouveaux. Tous des nouveaux arbres qui ont été plantés. Fait que merci beaucoup, j'apprécie. Et vous voyez, c'est qu'il y a comme un nœud en jaune, là, le nœud jaune en plastique, ou peut-être c'est en, je sais pas quelle matière, parce que je ne vais pas le toucher, mais c'est jaune, puis ça, c'est comme un nœud qui, ça démontre qu'il y a été une nouvelle plantation ici, que ça a fait une nouvelle plantation ici sur le Mont-Royal, fait que j'apprécie, puis j'en profite, puis on en profite ensemble, puis la nature, puis la flore va nous remercier, puis merci à ceux qui l'ont fait, puis moi je peux faire du bénévolat au printemps, puis toujours 24 sur 24, 4 saisons, ici dans la montagne je viens, puis bien sûr que c'est comme chez nous, comme en deuxième maison, puis j'aime ça venir, puis j'aime ça faire la méditation, puis j'aime ça bien sûr vous chanter du rock&roll, puis la danse, ce qui est mon sport préféré. Vous savez que personne danse comme votre dragon arc-en-ciel. Levez les mains dans les airs. Puis aujourd'hui, je marche pour ceux qui sont dans la cuisine, puis les chefs de cuisine de toutes formes, dans les CHSLD, dans les hôpitaux, dans les restaurants, tous ceux qui cuisinent, tous ceux qui cuisinent, même dans leur maison, les petits, les jeunes, les aînés, de tous âges, dans le fond, de tous âges, de tous les âges, bien sûr, ceux qui font la cuisine de tous les âges, puis bien sûr que c'est important. Fait qu'ici, je pense que c'est ça, encore une piste de ski. Je veux pas être dans les jambes de mes skieurs, par exemple, mais pour que j'aille ou que je veux m'en aller, je pense que je dois couper par là. Par où que je coupe, je m'oriente pour ne pas aller dans leurs jambes. Puis, ok, je vais aller par ici, par le bord, par le côté, comme ça. Parce que je vois qu'il y a des traces, mais... Parce que des fois, c'est pas clair. Ici. Ah non, ici, c'est pas vraiment la piste de ski, mais ça descend, c'est en pente, puis je veux pas tomber, fait que je vais mettre ma jambe comme ça. Fait que si... Ah bon, encore une fois, je vous encourage tous et toutes à faire l'entraînement physique. Ça a été sincèrement ma médecine et thérapie de choix, et je vous rappelle, un petit souvenir du rock&roll de votre dragon arc-en-ciel, que votre conditionnement physique commence dès aujourd'hui. Et donc, s'il commence dès aujourd'hui, comme le mien, et ça fait un effort, puis je vois qu'ici, bien sûr, je suis dans les jambes, je veux pas être dans les jambes des skieurs, fait que je vais aller par le côté, par où que je peux aller, parce que je veux pas être dans leurs jambes ou skieurs, puis ce qu'ils font, mais je vois des traces, puis je vais aller par le côté ici, parce que pas quand même indiqué, mais anyways, encore une fois, un petit souvenir que votre conditionnement physique commence dès aujourd'hui, puis faut que je me tasse du chemin, je l'explique, hop. Ouais, ça va par là, ouais, comme ça, fait que par le côté ici, ah oui, j'ai trouvé le chemin. Fait que le chemin, dans le fond, c'est par là. Faut que je m'en viens par là, place d'aller par là, pour ne pas être dans la jambe, puis ici, je vois qu'il y a les traces des skieurs par le côté. Comme ça, je suis pas dans leurs jambes, ou skieurs, comme ça, je vais aller par là, couper comme ça. Je veux pas être dans votre jambe, c'est pour ça que je suis ici sur le bord. Bonjour! Je veux pas être dans vos jambes, c'est pour ça que je suis patient pour traverser de l'autre bord, parce que je sais qu'ici c'est votre place à vous, là, puis je veux être en harmonie avec vous autres, les skieurs sur le Mont-Royal. Fait que... Puis comment caler la piste?
Eh bien, quand même. Pas épais.
Pas épaisse!
Ouais, mais non, mais tu sais, tu vois, mais.
Oui, ok.
Si tu compares dans Laurentides, là, tu vois une grosse différence.
Hey, des Laurentides, je suis pas allé, ça fait un bout. Moi, la COVID, depuis la COVID en 2020, je suis pas sorti de l'île de Montréal. Ça fait plus que 4 ans.
La neige dans le nord cette semaine, mais la pluie ici vendredi.
C'est ça.
Vous venez des Laurentides, vous autres?
Ben,
Non, Montréal.
Là, il y a longtemps, mais.
Ok.
Non, Montréal, moi.
De Montréal, ok.
Une vraie native de Montréal.
Moi aussi. Je vous chante une petite chanson avant qu'on parle. Pour la cuisine, dans la cuisine, ma cousine cuisine. C'est un peu de comédie rock'n'roll, là. Dans la cuisine, ma cousine cuisine. Qu'est-ce que t'as dit? Ma cousine, dans ta cuisine, cousine. Qu'est-ce que ça cuisine dans la cuisine? Non, c'est pas ça, c'est la cuisine dans la cuisine. Non, c'est la cousine de ma cousine qui cuisine.
C'est comme la rue La Salle, ça, j'ai magasiné que La Salle.
C'est un peu de comédie.
OK,
Bonne journée, en fait plaisir, puis continuez à...
Vous pouvez traverser.
Ouais, vous me chargez rien. Bye. Ça a fait la chanson, ils m'ont fait un beau sourire, ils se sont arrêtés, puis ils ont dit bonjour, puis ils ont dit bonjour, fait que j'ai dit bon bonjour, je parlais un petit peu de la chanson que j'ai composée, puis s'ils veulent l'entendre, il faut dire non, je voulais pas, mais s'ils veulent, je dis oui, puis ils m'ont fait signe avec la tête, oui, une petite chanson rock'n'roll, puis ça a fait un bon rock'n'roll, puis ils ont fait un bon traversement, puis ils ont traversé en harmonie, tu sais, puis savent bien le faire, puis qui font bien de faire l'exercice physique, ou l'exercice physique, c'est important. Puis, je dois dire, j'ai l'Asperger's, puis fois je peux être un peu étrange. Mais anyways, ici, je vous fais appel à vous, que vous continuez, puis vous m'aidez à faire bâtir la maison du dragon ici, il y a une pyramide. La maison du dragon, une pyramide ici. Tout ce que j'ai besoin, c'est une pyramide à 3 chambres. Chambre à coucher, chambre à dormir. Puis salle de bain avec le temple de la déesse oubliée. Ici, le temple de la déesse oubliée, ici. À cet étage en arc-en-ciel. Sur la montagne de Montréal avec une pyramide. La maison du dragon. Une chambre à dormir, une chambre à coucher. Une chambre à dormir, une chambre à coucher. Puis une cuisine ici. Écarlate, c'est rouge. Et une pyramide. Ici, en 7 cercles. 7 étages en couleur. Le temple de la déesse oublié ici, s'il vous plaît, le temple de la déesse oublié. Vis-à-vis le temple de la déesse, face à face, la maison du dragon. Soutenez votre dragon arc-en-ciel. Et ici, pour en faire ensemble, un bon jeu pour les aliments et pour l'alimentation. Ici, pour la renaissance de la vérité du collectif de Civilisation Americain, pour un partenariat public-privé, pour le collectif de Civilisation Americain, pour l'empire, le collectif de Civilisation Americain, pour construire le temple de la déesse oubliée à 7 étages en arc-en-ciel, pour l'interprétation des rêves, les équinoxes, puis les célébrations de la pleine lune, puis ben de la danse ici vis-à-vis la maison du dragon en rouge écarlate, face à face la maison du dragon en pyramide avec 3 chambres. J'ai juste besoin d'une chambre à dormir, une chambre à coucher, avec une chambre à coucher, une chambre à dormir. J'ai juste besoin d'une chambre à coucher, une chambre à dormir, avec une salle de bain ici bien, et puis vis-à-vis face à face le temple de la déesse à 7 étages. Ensemble pour le rêve de votre dragon arc-en-ciel, artiste à tête, philosophe aspi. Et philosophe, artiste aspi, puis qui a l'Asperger's, mais l'amnésia A, double A. Vous avez l'aspi avec Asperger's, puis artiste, athlète, philosophe qui chante, un 7e comédien, journaliste en géopolitique qui fait appel pour un partenariat public-privé, un partenariat public-privé pour construire la maison du dragon, avec le temple de la déesse, qui danse ici, une zone de plantation juste ici en arrière du belvédère. Et please, support the building and the construction of the House of the Dragon here, face to face with the Forgotten Goddess Temple. Right here, 7 stories high. All I need is 7 stories high. Forgotten Goddess Temple right here, 7 stories for activities such as reading of the tarot, equinox, astrology, full moon, and dancing here. 7 stories high in a circle. 7 stories in a rainbow, 7 stories high in a circle, 7 stories high. Face to face with the House of the Dragon. A room, sleeping quarters, a room to sleep in right here. A bathroom with a bathtub, a room to sleep in, and a kitchen to cook in right here. A room, a sleeping quarters, 3 rooms in a scarlet, is that red, House of the Dragon, face to face with the Forgotten Goddess Temple. Support it right here. Support that Forgotten Goddess. What time it is? 2:06. We're gonna go to the Belvedere and we're gonna do a little bit of that dance where we can do. See, it's 2:06, so we got a little bit of sun, and we're gonna go to the top and here support the construction, like I said, of the Forgotten Goddess Temple, face to face with the House of the Dragon. All I need in a pyramid. Simple, austere, severe. 1 sleeping quarters, kitchen and bathroom, face to face with the Forgotten Goddess Temple, 7 stories high, and in a rainbow. Yours truly, Rainbow Dragon, right here. Support for the public-private partnership, the construction building of the Forgotten Goddess Temple, right there. For the public-private partnership, for representation of the collective North American civilization, the North American Democratic Republic. That dream of yours truly, Adrian Hanna, Dragon's Dream, the dancing goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, right there in the back of the Belvedere, supported as I march on these steel toes. We're gonna go do a little bit of dancing at the top for yours truly on the block, encouraging you all to work out, train, exercise. Working out, training, and exercising has been, is, and shall be my medicine and therapy of choice. And I gotta be aware, being in harmony with my fellow skiers, my cousins, family here. Quebecers are my family. North Americans my family. And all who pledge allegiance, legions. The Art family, all those who pledge allegiance, legions. The Art family, all those who pledge allegiance, legions. The Art family, all those who pledge allegiance, legions. The Art family. And I gotta watch it because if the ski come, I don't want to be in their way. And my joy to work out, train, exercise, to come to the mountain has to be in balance, in equilibrium, in harmony with my fellow other citizens, physical activities and recreational activities such as skiing, and it's all part of all good recreational activities. And doing that recreational activities right here on the mountain, where it's my second home, where I always love to come. I invite people to come over and do a little bit of tour here in Montreal. We got great food, great cuisine, tourists. My brothers and sisters in the USA, this Canadian Quebecer was born in the USA twice, and I'm always gonna put it up for the Montrealers, and I'm a Montrealer, and this is what I love, and we're North American in this life and in a parallel life, and of course I gotta get that drill and gotta get that working out, training overtime, every time workout overtime, every time, and we gotta get that drill. And here I am just starting my workout like I would have started today, and my fitness journey had begun a few years ago, but you know, I got that amnesia, so I don't remember far back in ancient past. I got that amnesia, so I got that. Maybe COVID caused it, maybe COVID, whatever have you, and I know COVID caused it, and it's of course a great way to balance things out and to get that drill, and to get that drill for the cost, and to get that. Sometimes we gotta get that rebirth, to blood, sweat, and tears, and we gotta get a rebirth, and the rebirth also comes with some sun, you know, and gotta get that sun, and gotta get that drill, and gotta get that KISS, you know, kisses I got, push-ups I got, and gotta get that YouTubers, help this Rainbow Dragon Prive with PPP, public-private partnership, and not only YouTubers, but of course all those who are involved in the YouTube production and to make a channel better. Of course, I do need work tools, and gotta get for the work tools every day, and gotta put it up for the skiers. So nice. I just love when I see them so nicely. They're skiing so good, and they're having fun and smiling, and it's always great, always good skiing, and always a fun activity. And I always love when I see people doing skiing here, and always admire the joggers. Always encourage you to work out, train, exercise, and always exercising is on the constant. And again, reminder that your fitness journey starts today now, and please do not pollute, do not leave stuff. Just put it in the garbage. There's plenty of bins there to the left, plenty of garbage to the right. There's garbage and recycling bins and even where you can put some compost. Those are more rare, but they're available, so gotta keep that in mind, brothers and sisters. A little bit of that please, and you know, that gratitude is I made it to the top here at the Belvedere. There we go, and you got this Belvedere here, and you got this truck of the city. You got those flags, and gonna just take a little bit of just gonna take some pictures. Take some pictures of the city, and making sure we get nice pictures of the city. And that's the Montreal flag, actually. That's the flag of the city. So we have a flag of Montreal City, my home in this life and in the past life, you know. That's my home in the past life. And right here, just gonna take a little bit of pictures with this. And what time is it? And I'll take a picture with that. Gotta take a little picture of that, and see there. Wow. See, we got a picture, and gotta get that sun. We're gonna do some dances. Good. Here we are, we made it to the top. And it's always feel good. And yeah. Here we are, on est rendu, so we gotta get that workout, man. We gotta get that dance right here, you know? Gotta get that workout dance, so part 3, Dragon Zero becomes that priestess of the goddess. I said, you know that. Dragon Zero becomes that priestess of the goddess, baby. Dragon Zero becomes that priestess of the goddess. You know, we're gonna do a little bit of that dance. So.